Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. If you're watching on YouTube, and welcome back if you're listening on the road here on the way to that next job. We have a very special guest here today. This is Nick from Pocono Pros. He's a client of ours and also a very successful painting business owner. So, Nick, welcome. Thank you for joining us here today. It's a pleasure.
Good to be here, Caleb. Thanks for having me on. Excited to talk a little bit about you guys, kind of our path too, just kind of see where this whole podcast goes.
Of course, man. So I know you've had some guest appearances on like Mike or Hickman's podcast and things like that because you're one of his students. But if somebody, doesn't know who you are, are you able to give us a little bit of a summary?
Yeah, so I'm just 24-year-old out of northeastern Pennsylvania. Most of you might know Scranton from The Office. Not a crazy city, small city. Painting company in that field for about 5 years now. Pocono Pros, relatively new. This is year one under Pocono Pros, but 5 years of experience in the painting industry.
Yeah. Okay. So was this something that, how did you end up in the painting industry to begin with here?
Well, first it was actually power washing. I saw an ad on TikTok of a kid picking up a power washer from Home Depot, and we kind of bought one. We had a summer; it was during COVID, so we're just no one was doing anything. People needed their houses washed, so we picked it up, got started there. Long story short, 3 years down the line came, and winter season comes, and we're not working. So what can we do? I picked
Yeah.
up a brush with my dad when I was a kid, so we started slowly bringing on painting, and now painting, is the bread and butter of our company. So
Yeah. Absolutely. And uh, one part that, you've had a lot of challenges in your business, between just a couple months ago, Nick actually, his partner came to him right before the busy season and he's like, "Hey, I want to split." So can you tell us a little bit about that? Like, how did that go? How do you stay sane, with the day to day of all the problems that you have to deal with?
well, yeah, it was one of those things. Not everything works completely good
Mhm.
there. Me and him still cool friends.
Yeah.
We just separated our ways. I took painting side more seriously. We started, but we had different mindsets. At the end of the day, it is what it is. I had a business. I had people working for me, so it really wasn't like sit around think about it. You just had to do it. So we got to work right away. We did the rebrand, got the company up and running. I think it was like 3 weeks, everything fully licensed, insured, new equipment, new vehicles, a lot of upfront capital. And but I got to say, it feels like we never really took any back steps. If realistically, maybe a
Yeah.
couple foot uh, steps forward. So
Yeah.
really excited about it. It's been a process, still a process, and
Yeah.
there's a lot more to come with it. So
So one of the things that I am really impressed by you, and I think a lot of people can learn, is that you are really, really diligent about being a business owner and not somebody who's self-employed and just owns a job.
yeah.
How do you, for a lot of people listening, maybe they've been self-employed for 5 years, 10 years, and they feel
Mm-hmm.
like they're stuck. Like, how did you pass through that to become the business owner and, start to be able to enjoy the fruits of your labor and, not be somebody who is on the tools all day long? What did
Mm-hmm.
that process look like?
Well, I was there, I'd be lying to you if I said I wasn't still there, sort of. Now, previous years, I was in that truck Monday through Friday, washing, painting, standing decks, up late nights, typing up estimates. I didn't go to bed till 12 o'clock
Yeah.
most nights, and that was because I was in the tools. And year one, year two, year three, we were stagnant. There's something there that I'm like, we've been in business for 3 years. Why aren't we growing?
Mhm.
So I did, growing up, getting older, really listening to some people, hearing other companies' success stories that are multi-million dollar companies. What are they doing differently versus what am I doing differently? And a big thing was their time. Their time is the most valuable thing when running a company. You need to know what you're doing, when you're doing it, and how you're going to do it. And if
Mhm.
you're just going day by day, oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, and there's no structure, you're never going to get anything done. So what I thought it was really important was to get that schedule set. I told myself I need to be off the tools because I noticed when I was on the tools and it got closer to, oh crap, we have no more jobs. That's because I'm on the tools. So instead of producing work, I'm doing the work.
Yeah.
So we need to step away from that. And that's kind of the first step of where I saw I needed to make that change. As we're growing right now, we definitely got more work than we could produce right now with just two crews. We're working on getting three right now. but it's just understanding where you're at now and understanding that if you don't change something to where you want to be, it's never going to happen. So I think that was kind of reality check that put me in place is like,
Yeah.
if I want to be that multi-million-dollar painting company, I can't be trucking the truck anymore. I got to be the big
Yeah.
boy boss, the entrepreneur. So that's where we're at today. I'm not perfect. Nobody is. And,
Yeah.
every day I'm learning something different, implementing it. And, I'm just excited about the process because
Yeah.
I know it sucks now, but in 5, 6, 7, 8 years, we're going to be that Northeastern PA painting company that everybody knows.
Yeah. Absolutely, man. And I think I could tell right away that, I think you have what it takes from, I meet a lot of painting contractors,
Mm-hmm.
man. And, I definitely feel like you are upper echelon of that. And, I think a lot of people can learn from that. When you were sort of going through that phase of learning, growing and stuff like that, like who did you look up to? Like, were there a few coaches or people or like YouTube channels or podcasts? Like,
Yeah.
how did you,
Um,
who were some of the people you looked up to?
Definitely one of the guys, Mike or Hickman, great guy over there. If you guys don't listen to his podcast too, definitely chime in. Teaches you how to get off the tools and how to run a business. So check him out. I know Caleb's got some content out there too. Check his stuff out too. It's just one of those things is find somebody that's well put together and stick with that. Because if you start going to this guy, this guy, this guy, you can get clogged a little bit. Find someone that understands it and has done it and follow that. Just it's a plug and play system, guys. It's
Yeah.
stay consistent, be disciplined about it. Understand that you're not going to see a change tomorrow, but a year down the line, you're going to see that change if you stay
Yeah.
disciplined to
Yeah.
yourself.
I think a lot of people, when you tell somebody, hey, you play football, you have a coach, you play baseball, you have a
Mm-hmm.
coach. I'm a painting contractor. Like, why should I have a coach? That sounds
Yeah.
weird. It sounds weird when you say it, but uh, I think it's super, super freaking valuable. And
Mm-hmm.
obviously, a lot of people have benefited from that. You
Yeah.
know, what can you say to somebody who is sort of they want to get a coach, they want to learn more, but they're like, oh man, I can't fathom this idea of paying whatever it is, 5 grand, 10 grand to get a coach to help me kind of level up. Like, how do you
Yeah.
break that? How do you break that mentality?
It's definitely weird. Like I remember I told somebody one day, yeah, I got a business coach. So like, what do you need a business coach for? Because I don't know how to run a business. Just because you say I'm a painting company and you're painting jobs, that doesn't make you a business owner. That makes you an employee. Like you're not running a business, the
Yeah,
business is running you.
yeah,
So that you kind of have to shift that mindset. And coaching, these guys are there. Like people, you want to put yourselves in shoes where people are already are, because if you compare yourself to them, then you work that much harder. Now, if you compare yourself to the other truck in the truck,
yeah,
there's no, hey, we're both busy. We both have been working 70 hours a week. Like we got jobs all year.
yeah,
Like good, good. Some people like that, and there's nothing
yeah,
wrong with that. But like if you're trying to get that freedom, that financial freedom, that flexibility, you're not going to get that working 70 hours a week. You're going to get that by building systems, finding that right team, putting all that stuff in place so you can have that lifestyle later down the road. Because I promise you, it's not going to happen
yeah,
tomorrow. Like I said earlier, it's going to happen years down. So keep that mindset and understand that. Listen to people that point you in that direction. So yeah, coaching was kind of off the table. I was like, I don't need it. And then I joined it, and they're like, these guys do 2 million, 3, 4 million, $5 million a year, and they're telling you what to do because they've done it. So if
yeah,
you think you're too cool for it, you're wrong, because these multimillionaires out there, even outside of painting, they have people coaching them, whether it's what they're actually doing, how to
yeah,
be a leader. It doesn't stop. Like there's
yeah,
always room to grow. And if you don't
yeah,
have that mindset to always want to grow, you're never going to grow. So
yeah.
I think it is important to have somebody or follow somebody, and coaching definitely could be that right way to go. So,
Yeah. The way that I always like to put it is like, there is no better benefit than investing in yourself. And I get it.
mm,
Sometimes it's scary, but there is no stock market, there's no real
yeah,
estate deal, there's no business transaction that's going to get you a higher return than investing in yourself. Maybe if you're lucky, you can go play roulette and double your money. But if you invest in a program and that helps you, let's say, it's a program that helps you increase your closing rate by 3%, just 3%. You know, imagine if you had 3% more deals for an entire year. That's
Yeah,
arguably like tens of thousands of dollars right there. That just that
it
one
is.
little tweak has helped to make for you. Um, and I think the first step to that, which is uncomfortable, and we all hate doing it, and we're all not perfect, but a lot of people like to point and say, "Hey, I'm not successful because of my competitor, or because of the market, or because of the weather, or because of this, that, or the other thing." And the toughest part is you got to point the finger at yourself.
Yeah,
And we all struggle doing that. But I think, that's sort of one of the things that I notice about you. I think you're pretty good at taking ownership, kind of extreme ownership in those
yeah,
situations. And, how did you get there? And, how do you kind of develop that extreme ownership mindset,
yeah.
to quote
I
John
don't know. I
Taurify?
mean, like I started this at 19 years old, so I was still a kid. Seeing $400 for a small deck was like $1 million, right?
Yeah.
As a 19-year-old. But as expenses started building, responsibilities, employing people relying on you to keep a roof over their heads, pay for their cars, the food, like it
Yeah.
does shift your mindset. And like we didn't get there until I slowly started like saying we need some help. And then those guys started getting more involved, and winter time would come and we just stop doing what we're doing for 3 months and they go
Yeah.
find out the job elsewhere. Like that's not sustainable. So I think that's kind of where it like flicked off in my head. It's like we gotta, I gotta change the way I look at things. And, I think that just came with maturity growing up. I'm 24 now.
Yeah.
It just changes your mindset a little bit. And it doesn't change
Mhm.
for everybody. There's always gonna be that moment that you can look back. Like in 20 years, I'll be like, I remember when my mindset changed from being a kid and just not understanding the power of money and time
Yeah.
and responsibility to now. So
Yeah.
I still have a lot to learn. It's going to click for everybody, but a lot of people, especially people that are listening to this, they don't. I guarantee most of them don't want to be painting or doing any kind of labor. They want to be running a business.
Yeah.
So I think everybody's there that's watching this.
Yeah.
They're just afraid to push that button of taking that
Mhm.
next step and stop worrying about the money now, because investing up front now is only going to give you a great return later.
Yeah.
So I think everybody's there. It's just
Yeah.
finally putting your foot down and say, I'm going to change something.
So it kind of seems to me, and obviously correct me if I'm wrong here, but it seems like you're mainly in like a scaling phase of your business, hiring,
It's
growing.
scaling. Yeah.
Would you kind of consider that where you're at?
I would say so. And like, I guarantee most people listening to this too, I can tell you right now, the two biggest problems: sales and marketing. How do I get leads?
Yeah.
How do I close more deals? That is one of the biggest roadblocks I feel like I hear throughout the whole painting industry is I don't have enough work. I don't have this. Winter's slow.
Yeah.
That seems to be it right now. We're probably taking about 30 to 40 leads a week, between many different streams, and that number could be different. I mean, what last week was 20 leads in 7 days from Facebook ads alone. Like
Yeah.
that's one stream. We got referrals, door to door marketers. Like we got them all, and right now we can't keep up with it. So production's like a little on the stagnant side right now. So we're working, building more systems in place to get more crews out there, because out here in northeastern Pennsylvania, it's you can paint exterior from probably end of April to, if you're lucky, first second week of October. So there's a
Yeah.
small window of getting all these exterior done, whether it's decks,
Yeah.
houses, all that kind of stuff. And we need to have all hands on deck. I thought 2 crews would be enough to paint. Now we're looking more at 3. And, I don't want to pull back on ad spends or
Yeah.
marketing or telling customers we can't service them till end of August. Like that's on me to like, all right, let me go find some people. Let me recruit.
Yeah.
Let me go through this. And so hiring, interviewing, doing all these onboarding systems, like these are higher level tasks that you need to
Yeah.
keep doing. So if you're
Yeah.
stuck in the truck still, you're never going to find time to do these. So that's kind of also an indicator. Like I need more time. And like,
Yeah.
the guys understood for me, I was always working with them, and they're like, Nick's not working with us today. He's probably just sitting on the couch doing nothing.
Yeah.
And they saw the difference of when I was with them versus when I'm not with them. It's like, all right, guys, we got 6 projects this week. And they're
Yeah.
like, 6? Are you kidding me? I'm like, you guys wanted to be busy, so I made sure you're
Yeah.
busy. So, but nah, I take care of my guys. They get paid
Yeah.
well. It's really important too for great culture too if you're drawing.
Yeah.
So I know I'm kind of getting
Yeah.
a little off track, but we'll
No, no, no.
stop.
This is all super valuable. It's not, a lot of people want to find like the one magic thing that's going to fix their business, but
It's not,
realistically,
yeah,
it's like eight or
everything.
12 different
Yeah,
things. Yeah, it's
it's
probably
one thing
everything.
to the
Yeah.
next to the
Yeah, absolutely. Um, Now, I know obviously a big part of scaling is like you got to get the leads and the estimates in the first place.
yeah.
But I don't think that, so, I do think there's a lot of people that think they have a marketing problem when really like they don't.
It's a
Uh,
huge
you know,
problem.
it's yes. In your, a lot of people look at marketing agencies or Facebook ads or something as like this magic pill. Like if I only had more leads, then my closing rate would be better, or then I'd have more, like, all this stuff. But I don't think there are people who are quite ready for that yet.
Hmm.
But there are people who I think also pull the trigger way too late. You know,
Yeah.
in your opinion, where or when is somebody sort of ready to take on either a marketing agency or, start scaling up? Like when are they
Hmm.
kind of ready for that?
I mean, like I said, this kind of goes back to time and money. You
Hmm.
either have a lot of time or a lot of money. You could start on it tomorrow. Don't get me wrong, they work, but like I said, if you're strapped for cash, Facebook ads, marketing agency, it isn't. Please do not do it. You're only going to set yourself up for failure. Now, if you have a little more time and some money, you're making 150, $200,000 a year. Yeah, you can have the conversation. Maybe I should get some Facebook ads, look into a marketing agency. But remember, a marketing agency isn't going to spawn leads. You have to give them an input for them to give you the output. So if you need to create content, go create content, create something engaging. Don't do a before and after photo. I'm sorry, but everybody does it now. It's 2025. You got to think outside the box. You want someone to hire you for a $10,000 ticket?
Yeah.
Be different.
Yeah.
Build that trust. Build something other than, oh, look, we just did this before and after this beautiful home.
Yeah.
Cool. I don't care. I'm
Yeah.
scrolling.
Yeah.
So, like I said, if you expect a marketing agency to just spawn you leads, yeah, maybe they'll get you a couple from what they have, but you're the face of the company. So
Yeah.
put that content in there, make it creative, make it engaging, because your input is your output. Like,
Yeah.
what was it, Caleb? I think you say a healthy lead cost per leads for anywhere from 45 to $60.
So like anything 50 and below, I'm usually
Mm.
super happy with. Yeah.
What was this week's report?
We were at $16.50 per lead this week. So
$16 over
yeah.
six.
And that just to kind of double down on what he said about getting behind the camera, there was that large interior for about
Mm-hmm.
13,000 that you guys just closed. Nick made a wonderful, it was kind of a funny ad with him on the job site talking about what, his guys, what they do and so sort of. But it was like, it was humorous, it was
Yeah.
cool, it was fun, it was easy to watch. And that interior that was just closed for 12K, came from that. And a lot of people, they don't like to get behind the camera. They feel weird or whatever. But at the end of the day, people buy from people.
Yeah.
They're gonna buy from you because they trust you, because they like you, opposed to just some faceless, no-name business. They want to do business with you and let you into their home because they trust you. And that's the first step. We want when everyone shows up to, like, the job site. Oh, hey, you're the guy from the ad. That's exactly what we're trying to create because that builds on that trust. We had we actually had an old lady who this was for one of our other clients over in California. This old lady who I think she asked for the owner's autograph because she was like, "Oh, I see your ads all over the place." She was this cute
Local
old lady.
celebrity, man. That's what we
Yeah,
want.
yeah, and like people will come up to you in the store or something like that. Like that's what we want. Um, I'm getting a little off track here, but just to kind of clarify a little bit, it sounds like you would sort of recommend hiring on a marketing agency or scaling or things like that, all dependent on your time.
Where time, money, where you're at. Yeah,
Okay. Yeah.
completely agree. Like
Yeah.
a lot of people, I've went through many marketing companies. Now, this is something obviously do your research on. There's a lot
Yeah.
of crappy marketing companies out there, and that's what any business, honestly. And it sucks
Yeah.
for us because it only hurts us. But What I will say is this: do your homework, ask for referrals, ask for some kind of proof and backing, just to kind of do your research. I always did that with anything I did, as you should with any kind of financial decision in your life. Like I said,
Absolutely.
this is an investment, and it's only going to give you money back in return. So
Yeah.
I will say, someone starting new, you have a lot of cash, you're willing to get in front of a camera. Yeah, go ahead. You want to spend $1,000 a month to have someone run it? Budget your ad spend to whatever you want. You'll get results, but
Yeah.
I would steer more the organic way for someone new. You know, you have friends, you have family, you have people that talk. You can get
Yeah.
100 yard signs from Dope Marketing
Yeah.
for $400. Go
Yeah.
plop them all around the neighborhood. Someone's gonna call, and when you
Yeah.
get that first call, it's
Yeah.
just fuel the fire. You keep investing in it. Go get door hangers. Go knock on
Absolutely.
doors. It's free.
Yeah.
So start there and work your way up. And once you hit, 100,000, 150, you got some money to spend. Then look into that investment,
Yeah.
because you're not spending money on somebody to run your ads. You're spending money on someone to produce you more revenue if you do it the right way with the right inputs.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
I think it's a good investment, but not right, not if you're in a poor situation.
Yeah.
Now, some people don't even use Facebook ads, which is great. Some people are, there's so many different ways to go, but
Mhm.
you see a lot of painting companies that over half their lead generation is from Facebook ads. And that's because they understand it, or they have the right person doing it. Now, Caleb, I know we've kind of been working together 6 months, maybe 5 months right now,
Yeah.
somewhere around there. I came to you, I found you from YouTube or something like that, and you know, I did my research, but I liked you as a person, so I was like, I trust this guy. He's got the referrals. Let's see what he can do, because I know I need to do it. I was
Yeah.
always an advocate of trying to save money.
Yeah.
I wasn't always that investor mindset, but I understood, like, I have 8 people working for me now. Like,
Yeah.
me alone, just staying in my head wasn't gonna change anything. So I had to produce. So I need to open these marketing streams up. Like, marketing and sales was one of my strong points, but I only have so much time. Could I spend a couple months spending thousands of dollars trying to figure out the Facebook ads and how they work? Yeah,
Yeah.
I could have, but
Yeah.
I don't have that time. And I'd rather pay someone to do it that is a professional in it
Yeah.
than me trying to learn it. Because realistically, you're a human being. We're not going to be perfect at everything. So understand
Yeah.
your strengths and weaknesses and delegate the weaknesses and work on the strengths. So
Yeah, absolutely. And I think one of the kind of good partnership pieces that we have, because at the end of the day, hiring an agency or something like that, it is a partnership. It's not going to be one person can't just totally carry the other. It's
yeah,
like
I
a
agree.
marriage or any other business partnership.
I
Um,
agree. And we have our chats every week. You keep me in the loop. It's
absolutely.
like I'm not spending my money like wondering where it goes. You're always telling me how the ads are producing.
Yeah,
What should we do? Like, it's a relationship, it's a partnership. So
yeah,
if your
yeah,
marketing company isn't doing that and you're not getting results, there's something going wrong there. Like, you
yeah,
need to look back and reflect, because realistically, they work for you.
yeah,
They're here to build your business. So if they're not producing, I'm sorry, get them out. And
yeah,
I had those, but I'm glad I found you, because you guys keep me in the loop. We're constantly chatting business, we're chatting just all around, a bunch of different conversations. So it's a good relationship that you provide for your clients. So again, great work. Really glad to see the results at $15 cost per lead. So something's working.
Yeah, I'm very glad with that, man. But I I'd love to sit here and take all the credit, but like truthfully, like you have been a great partner here as well, and I really like to highlight those things for other people watching as well. Like your admin side, your appointment setting there has been absolutely killer. Last time we talked, it sounded like you guys were booking about 60% of those leads into estimates. Is that still accurate?
Yeah, I honestly, we're probably around the 80. Like, as soon as those calls come in, actually, I got a
Yeah.
quick story for you. So a high answering the phone is probably one of the biggest things, difficulties people are. If you're on the tools, you might miss a phone call, you might miss this. So I said, I'm going to spend the extra $1,500 a month, hire an admin, have her answer the phones, inbound leads. I built her a system that asked the questions to pass over to our sales rep Jack, which he would conduct the qualifications, see what's going on, get there. So it was Memorial Day weekend this past weekend, and the phone was ringing. Now my admin takes the next step. She makes sure she does what she's doing, and there was a missed phone call. No voicemail, no nothing. Um, Comes to do, she calls him back on Tuesday, says, "Hey, I saw you called. You didn't leave a voicemail. What's going on?" This guy just purchased a 62-acre land about 40 minutes from here. Five,
Yeah.
exterior barns, like they're turning into kind of like a restaurant hotel.
Yeah.
So brand new guy, wanted to get it done, the price on it. And if she had not called him back, we would have missed out on a $22,000 ticket
Yeah.
just from that one phone call that she was like, let me call this back. It could have been spam. It could have been a complaint. It could have been anything. But
Yeah.
she took the initiative. And because I would have answered the phone, I was
Yeah.
enjoying time with family and friends and having a good time on the holiday weekend. But having a system in place for someone to delegate those leads and those incoming
Yeah.
leads, really important to capture them. Yes, she didn't get it on the weekend, but damn, she got it and she closed one of the biggest tickets of the year so far. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's important to have these systems and lead generation processes in place.
Yeah. So I guess, in your own words here, like what has sort of the benefit of having, Taurify as a partner? What does that do for you? How does it make you feel? And like what are some of the results that you've kind of seen from
Yeah.
this?
So bringing on you guys at first, I was like, all right, let's give this marketing company another trial run. But it was just the communication. I think it was just like me and you relating, like you said earlier, people do business with people they like and trust. So I was like, we built that pretty quickly, I feel like. And, now it's just coming down to results. You told me what to do. I knew it was on me to go produce that content or do something, do this, do that. So I did it. I did my part. You did your part, and that was just a mutual relationship, and we understood that we both had jobs to do, and the outcome came. So,
Yeah.
and you don't get that with a lot of marketing companies out there. There's a lot of
Yeah.
scams and whatnot out there. But really, to wrap up your question, is what bringing to the table, it's the communication, the work, the feedback. You've gone beyond and out to help us with little things, apps. Like it's not just, hey, I'm going to run your ads. No matter what, you were trying to help me whatever I could. Like we were going through the busiest time, crunch time in 6 weeks, and you saw how stressed I was. I'm
Yeah.
flipping a company in 2 weeks trying to get everything ready. And you're like, Nick, how can I help? How can I help? And I was just like, Caleb, if you can teach me how to like capture my door knockers leads and put them into our CRM, simple as that. I didn't know about it, but
Yeah.
see, those are the little things that add up, and that goes into the relationship. So there's more than just paying you to give ads. There's a
Mhm.
relationship there that's gonna, last for a while.
Yeah. So, and obviously, I understand that we're not perfect here as well, and we always want to improve. In your eyes, like what can we do to improve at Torify? What can I do to provide better services to our clients, and just help them better? How can we be a better company for you and everyone else?
You know what? I think, you know, and like I said, this is just conversation, but maybe when you onboard somebody, I know it took me a while to really like get down on like figuring out how to produce content. Like it is
Yeah.
up to us. And I know I took like maybe an extra couple weeks to
Yeah.
get it, but I got it, and that was on me. But maybe like an onboarding guy, like what to expect. Like this is what's
Right.
going to happen if you do this. This is what we want. So you need to do this, and like some videos. Like I think you do have some like a folder or something with a bunch of ads and whatnot. Actually, I think you sent that to me.
Yeah, so we used to have like a rinky-dink Google Drive that we just kind of
Mm-hmm.
threw everything into. We did launch a school community recently. I actually don't think I sent you an invite for that, so I'll have to do that after this call.
Damn, the invite to the
But
party. All right.
I think I might have sent an email out to everybody, but I'll drop you a link anyways,
Awesome.
because I want you in there.
So you beat me to it. My only
Yeah.
flaw, and you got there to beat me to it. So
Well, I'm glad, man. And obviously, I always want, to have that open communication. We want to literally your success is our success. So that's how, we build good relationships and stuff with people. So that's awesome, man. Um, I guess if there was, somebody who's sort of, they're watching this video, maybe they've been a fan of the channel for a while, and I want this to be, an honest opinion here, not just a puff piece for Torify. what would you say to somebody who's sort of on the fence? Maybe I want to talk to Taurify, maybe I don't,
Take the jump. Sorry, there's gonna I hate to say it, but there's two types of people out there. There's people that are just gonna always do the same thing over and over again and expect something different, and that's the definition I think of insanity. But um, there's doers and don'ts. Like do something, change something. Because if you don't change something, you're never gonna do it. So if you're watching this video, you made it to the end. Clearly, you're somewhere stuck in the rat race of trying to make that next step. You're just afraid to spend money here or hire someone to fill this. Like everybody's at different stages in painting companies or whatever home service you're doing. It's just it's here. Like I know I said it on Mike's podcast too, and I'm just repeating myself, but sometimes you just got to drill that concept that like if you don't change something and get out of your comfort zone, you're not going to be successful. Because if you're not stressed every single day, you know, you're not doing something right. And I don't mean
Mhm.
like being in the truck worrying about painting, getting this job done. I mean like stress outside of the actual painting itself. Those are
Yeah,
growth pains.
yeah,
Those are good pains. So,
yeah,
like I said, if you're there, keep doing what you're doing. I know it's the light at the end of the tunnel is hard. You'll get there. Now, for the
mhm.
people who are sitting here right now, oh, you know what? I kind of want to do this, but damn, 500 bucks to go get 100 lawn signs, you can get a $22,000 job from that one lawn sign. It's an investment. You're not spending money, it's an investment. So wake up a little bit. I'm sorry that I'm being a little harsh about it, but in
Yeah.
reality check, I didn't have anyone to be harsh for me, but I know I needed a push, and that push came a little later than I expected. So if I can hit you on the head with the hammer a little bit and say, go change,
Yeah.
I would say that. But
Yeah.
like I said, it's just changing.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Nick, I really appreciate your time here today, and I think everybody is going to find a lot of value in this, and I think it's going to be super helpful to them. Um,
No problem.
to kind of end us off here, are there any words you would kind of leave the that business owner that's kind of on like the 150 to 250 range? They really want to get into scaling. They really want to make the jump off the tools. What's one piece of advice you'd leave them with?
I would say um, one piece of advice I would give them jumping over the fence. Um, Discipline. I mean, I'm not there yet. Like, look, if I'm being honest, we're on pace for 1 million right now.
Mhm.
But there's still a lot of kinks and nicks. Like, I might sound like I got my shit together. I'm getting there, but
Yeah.
just see the light at the end of the tunnel. Stay disciplined. Have a routine. Understand your time's valuable. Delegate other things that aren't, that are worth more time. So if you're on the truck painting, go get better at sales, go learn, open up your marketing streams, go higher, because it's all going to hit you at one point. So start getting your feet
Nice.
wet with higher, you know, higher value tasks other than the actual work.
Nice. Nice.
So
Alrighty. Well, thank you, Nick, and I hope everyone enjoyed this. Thank you, guys, and I'll catch you in the next one.